The Art of Playing Dumb, a survival guide for the secretly smart. Let me tell you about the time I accidentally revealed I could speak 3 languages during a company dinner. Suddenly, I wasn't just Sarah from accounting anymore. I became the unofficial translator, cultural consultant, and apparently the person responsible for explaining why French people love Jerry Lewis. Lesson learned: sometimes keeping your cards close to your chest isn't deception, it's self-preservation. You know, there's this fascinating phenomenon where highly intelligent people often pretend they're not. It's like having a superpower and choosing to wear Clark Kent glasses. Not because you're ashamed of being Superman, but because sometimes it's exhausting having everyone expect you to save the world. I call it strategic dimming, the art of selectively downplaying your intelligence. And before anyone starts throwing around words like inauthenticity or quoting Shakespeare about being true to oneself, let's dive into why this isn't just about hiding. It's about surviving and thriving in a world that has complicated feelings about intelligence. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Why would anyone hide their smarts? Well, as someone who once made the mistake of correcting a boss's grammar in a meeting, pro tip, don't. I can tell you it's not about shame. It's about strategy. Think of it like having a sports car. Sure, it can go from 0 to 60 in seconds, but do you really need to prove that in every school zone? Sometimes cruising at a comfortable speed isn't just safer, it's smarter. Here's what happens when people know you're the smart one. Suddenly, you're expected to have an answer for everything. Hey, you're smart. Why is my printer making that weird noise? I don't know, Karen. I have a PhD in literature, not in HP troubleshooting. Your mistakes become magnified. Make one error and it's, oh, I thought you were supposed to be the genius here. Yeah, because intelligence totally equals infallibility, right? People start filtering themselves around you, assuming you're judging their grammar or analyzing their every word. Spoiler alert, we're probably just thinking about lunch like everyone else. But there's a deeper psychological aspect to this that even Schopenhauer would find interesting. When you're known as the intelligent one, people often stop sharing their insights with you. They assume you already know everything, or worse, that their perspectives aren't valuable enough to share. I remember sitting in a meeting once deliberately holding back my solution to a problem, not because I was being manipulative, but because I wanted to hear other perspectives. And you know what? Someone else came up with an even better solution than mine. Intelligence isn't about having all the answers, it's about knowing how to find them, sometimes in other people. Here's where it gets really interesting, and a bit paradoxical. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. It's like climbing a mountain only to discover it's part of a whole range you hadn't seen from the ground. This is what makes truly intelligent people often the most humble. We're not playing dumb. We're acknowledging the vastness of human knowledge and experience. Let me share what I call the 3 levels of intelligence mastery. Level 1, showing off your intelligence. We all go through this phase, usually around age 14 when we discover big words. Level 2, hiding your intelligence, the defensive phase. Level 3, strategic intelligence deployment, the sweet spot. Think of it like having a superpower that you've learned to use wisely. Sometimes you're Clark Kent, sometimes you're Superman, but most of the time you're somewhere in between, just trying to get through the day without accidentally revealing you can see through walls. Here's the practical stuff, how to navigate this without losing your mind or your authenticity. Remember, not every thought needs to be voiced. When someone says it's raining, they probably don't need to hear about the meteorological patterns of the past decade. Sometimes, yeah, it's really coming down is enough. Instead of showing what you know, ask questions. It's amazing how much people will teach you when they don't feel intellectually threatened. Plus, you might actually learn something new. Imagine that. Sometimes watching people figure things out for themselves is the smartest thing you can do. It's like having the answers to a crossword puzzle but letting someone else experience the joy of solving it. I once sat through an entire meeting where someone explained my own research back to me, incorrectly. Could I have interrupted and corrected them? Sure. Would it have helped anyone? Probably not. Instead, I asked questions that gently guided them toward the right conclusions. They felt great about figuring it out, and the information was actually better received. But here's the important part. This isn't about diminishing yourself. It's about understanding that intelligence isn't just about IQ scores or how many facts you can recite. It's about emotional intelligence, social awareness, and knowing how to use your gifts in ways that elevate everyone around you. Think of it like being a chess master. The real skill isn't in knowing all the moves, it's in knowing which moves to make at which time. Sometimes the most powerful piece on the board needs to hang back and let other pieces take the lead. So here's the real secret. Playing dumb isn't about denying who you are. It's about being smart enough to know when to shine and when to let others shine. It's about understanding that true intelligence isn't just about what you know. It's about how you use what you know to navigate the world and connect with others. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's about sitting quietly in that meeting, sipping your coffee, while someone explains why the earth might be flat, because you understand that not every moment needs to be a teaching moment, and not every person needs to know you could teach the class. Remember, the smartest person in the room isn't always the one proving they're the smartest person in the room. Sometimes they're the one asking questions, listening intently, and yes, occasionally pretending they don't know the answer even when they do. Because in the end, true intelligence isn't just about being smart. It's about being wise enough to know when and how to use it.